Information kiosk that you see out at Clam Lake, Wisconsin. It's at the intersection right in town. This was built when the elk were reintroduced. It's a good place to stop. There's a little video box off on the one side of the screen and a lot of information here, and the partners as well. So I'll give you a little more information in one moment as soon as I get into the screen. Well, hey, everybody, I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. What I'd like to be doing right now is I'd like to give you some information on the elk, excuse me, in the Chequamegon National Forest. So if you come on out here, before you do, familiarize yourself by going to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources page, Chequamegon National Forest page, and the Clam Lake community page. I'll put links in the description. That'll give you a lot of information. Locate maps. Look for an app for your phone called Avenza, and it will you'll be able to get the Chequamegon motor vehicle use map. That will tell you if the road is open or closed to vehicle traffic. Cross-country traffic is not allowed even if you see tracks going through there, so be aware of that. As far as safety, the area does have business, and in the fall it's very busy. Elk, people viewing elk, bear hunters, there are people on the highways going to work, logging trucks, semis, so be aware that you're not the only person out there. It's best to have one person driving and being observant, and others spotting the elk. Once you see the elk, pull off safely on the edge of the roads. Highway 77 has wide shoulders. Highway M and Double G not as wide, but they still have shoulders. So if you're standing on the edge of the road, good idea to have visibility clothing. The elk most of the time don't mind, but I do prefer dull muted clothing if I'm going to be standing out here and I get off the road. The big thing, whether it's camel, dull muted clothing, or blaze orange, is that it doesn't have UV brightener in it. You can get detergent that will wash that out. So if you buy a gray hoodie and brand new, it will have UV brightener in it. That's the color end of the color spectrum that the elk really see a glow. They are getting more skittish. So safety, don't block the road, don't drive slow, be observant. As far as filming the elk, be considerate of other people. If you see someone in their car looking at the elk or standing out taking pictures, don't photobomb. Be courteous, talk in a quiet, low voice, ask permission to move in close if you want to. Try to get along with others. There's good information here in businesses in Clam Lake. There's, I guess it's Ransom's Place, Chippewa Outpost, Clam Lake Junction Convenience Store. I'm not sure on the status of the Elkhorn, but in the past, Elkhorn did have rooms to rent, and Chequamegon Junction does have rooms to rent. There's also camping in the area at Day Lake and other campgrounds. The National Forest allows dispersed camping for up to 21 days. Just remember, you have to clean up and leave it better than you found it, so be very careful. As a photographer, I like to shoot full manual. Occasionally, I will shoot with auto ISO. I begin with a wide open aperture, maybe as low as 2/5 of a second in low light, but as the light comes in, I'll try to switch off auto ISO and set that manually, and I will decrease that shutter speed to hopefully 1/1000th of a second. If you look at exposure, well, I'll do another video later that will get more in depth on exposure and processing images. I'm in the professional side of things, so I shoot raw images and I post-process in Photoshop and Lightroom. I don't shoot anything auto except the occasional auto ISO. I do the work, not the camera, not the computer. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to take a quick picture, there's nothing wrong with shooting auto in your camera. Your camera will capture some good images, but that is not going to be able to be top end maximized. I will shoot with spot focus and spot metering right on the subject. I'm exposing for the subject, so that's really helpful to make sure the eyes are in focus on the animal. Lighting, be aware that backlighting can silhouette the animal, so it's nice to have the light at a side angle or coming from behind me and onto the animal. So now there's a lot of good things out here, but roaming, driving around in the morning, if you look on Google Earth, you can find there are clearings, openings where the elk will inhabit that aren't visible from the road, so you can quietly walk in on a logging road, and you can sometimes find elk feeding out in these clearings. By getting out nice and early, you have a really good chance of maybe catching a couple of bulls sparring. I've captured that several times. Pulling off on the side of the road and just listening, you will hear the elk bugle. They do bugle a lot at night. It does die down during the day because of activity, other things going on. If you want to call, look online to learn how to call. Elk bugles and cow calls are really helpful, but once they get their harems, it's harder to call a bull off a harem. But don't over-call. Be very limited in your calling. So if you have any more questions, put them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I hope to have the links to these businesses in here as well. And stay tuned for future videos. Today is August 24th. I photographed some cows and one bull in velvet this morning. Maybe I'll put that photo up online, a few photos. So hang in there, and if you like this video, like and please subscribe to the channel. That helps me, and there will be more coming in the future. So have a great day, and good luck with your elk photography.
When you stop in at the businesses out in the Clam Lake area, please show some support for them. You know, dinner, drink, food, gasoline, souvenirs. It's very much appreciated. And thank you very much.